Did you know that bees are quite possibly the most important creatures on our planet? Indeed, these small but mighty insects play an integral role in our ecosystem, and they are fascinating to boot. For instance, consider their wings. Bees beat their wings at an astonishing 200 times per second. That's faster than the blink of an eye. Just as captivating is their unique way of communicating. Bees don't rely on sounds or scents alone. Instead, they perform intricate dances to convey information to their hive mates. The waggle dance, as it's commonly known, helps them share the location of a newly discovered food source. Isn't that something? And did you know that a single bee produces only about 1/12 of a teaspoon of honey in its entire lifetime? Now that's commitment to the cause. If these facts have already sparked your curiosity, brace yourself for more. Ever wondered what a day in the life of a bee looks like? Well, the first thing to know is that not all bees are created equal. In a hive, there are 3 distinct roles: the queen, the workers, and the drones. Each has a unique purpose, and their daily tasks change as they age. Let's start with the queen, the heart and soul of the hive. Her primary role is to lay eggs, and boy does she do it well. A queen bee can lay up to 2,000 eggs a day during her peak season. That's more eggs than her own body weight every single day. Next, we have the worker bees, who are the real hustlers of the hive. They're responsible for almost every other task you can think of, from cleaning the hive and feeding the larvae, to guarding the entrance and gathering nectar. And as they age, their roles change. Young worker bees, for instance, tend to focus on inside jobs like tending to the queen and larvae. But as they grow older, they graduate to outside jobs like foraging for nectar and pollen. Last but not least, we have the drones, the only males in the hive. Their sole purpose? To mate with a queen from another hive. And once they've fulfilled this task, their job is done. Now let's talk about one of the most fascinating aspects of a bee's life, the tireless work to gather nectar and create honey. Worker bees visit up to 2,000 flowers a day, collecting nectar and storing it in a special stomach called a honey stomach. Back at the hive, they regurgitate the nectar and pass it on to younger worker bees, who chew it, breaking down the sugars. This nectar is then stored in the honeycomb and fanned by the bees' wings until it becomes the delicious golden honey we all know and love. Quite the busy life, isn't it? Honey is a real treat, but have you ever thought about how it's made? Let's dive into this sweet journey. It all begins with the bees venturing out into the world on a quest for nectar. They flit from flower to flower, sipping the sweet nectar with their long tube-like tongues and storing it in their honey stomachs. Yes, you heard that right. Honey stomachs, separate from their food stomachs. Once their honey stomachs are full, which can weigh almost as much as the bee itself, they make their way back to the hive. Here they pass the nectar on to younger house bees who chew it for about half an hour. It's during this process that enzymes in the bee's saliva break down the complex sugars in the nectar into simpler ones. This transformation is crucial as it makes the honey more digestible for the bees and less likely to be attacked by bacteria. The bees then deposit this partially digested nectar into the cells of the honeycomb they've meticulously built out of beeswax. But the process doesn't stop there. Bees then fan their wings over these nectar-filled cells to speed up the evaporation process. You see, nectar is about 70% water, and the bees need to bring that down to about 18%. Once they've achieved this perfect consistency, bees seal the cell with a wax cap, preserving the honey for later use. The hive's interior, kept at a constant temperature of about 95 degrees Fahrenheit, acts as a natural incubator for this final maturation process. When humans step into the process, beekeepers carefully remove these wax caps and spin the honeycombs in a machine to extract the honey. After straining out any remaining wax and debris, they bottle the honey and it's ready for us to enjoy. So, the next time you enjoy some honey, remember the hard-working bees. Their dedication, teamwork, and precision engineering are truly remarkable, turning a simple nectar into a delightful treat that has been enjoyed by humans for thousands of years. Bees are not just honey producers, they play a crucial role in pollination. Now, let's dive into the world of pollination and see how our buzzing friends contribute to it. Pollination is nature's way of playing matchmaker for plants. It's like a botanical dating service where pollen from a plant's male parts is transferred to the female parts of another plant. This allows for fertilization and the production of seeds, enabling plants to reproduce. But how does this pollen make its way from one plant to another? Enter the bees. Bees are like the mail carriers of the plant world, delivering pollen from flower to flower. As they flit around collecting nectar for their hive, pollen sticks to their furry bodies. When they visit the next bloom, some of this pollen rubs off, completing the pollination process. But it's not just about flowers and seeds. This process has a massive impact on agriculture and our food supply. It's been estimated that 1 in every 3 bites of food we eat is directly or indirectly the result of bee pollination. That's a lot of meals depending on these industrious insects. From apples to zucchinis, many of our favorite fruits and vegetables owe their existence to bees. They also help to pollinate crops that feed livestock, so even if you're enjoying a steak, you're benefiting from the work of bees. And let's not forget about the nuts, oils, and fibers that also come from pollinated plants. The role of bees in pollination also has a significant economic impact. In the United States alone, honeybees pollination services are valued at more than $15 billion a year. That's a big contribution from such small creatures. So the next time you enjoy a juicy apple, a handful of almonds, or a slice of honey on toast, remember the bees. These tiny workers are the unsung heroes of our food system, making our diverse diets possible. Without these little pollinators, our dinner plates would look quite different. Unfortunately, bees face multiple threats today. Despite their small size, these threats are gigantic, looming overhead like a storm cloud ready to burst. Pesticides, habitat loss, and climate change are just a few of the challenges that these industrious creatures are up against. Let's start with pesticides. These chemicals, designed to protect crops from pests, often don't differentiate between harmful pests and beneficial insects like bees. As bees go about their daily tasks, collecting nectar and pollen, they can inadvertently come into contact with these harmful substances, leading to devastating consequences. Next up, habitat loss. As we build more and more, we're taking away the natural homes of bees. Wildflowers, meadows, and other natural habitats are being replaced by concrete jungles, leaving bees with fewer places to call home. This loss of habitat means fewer food sources and nesting sites for bees, making their survival all the more difficult. And then there's climate change. Changes in weather patterns can disrupt the delicate balance of nature. Bees rely on certain temperatures and seasons to guide their behavior. When these are disrupted, it can throw off their life cycle, impact their food supply, and even lead to a decline in bee populations. Now you might be asking, what can I do to help? Well, there are plenty of ways. You can start by planting bee-friendly plants in your garden. Bees love plants like lavender, sunflowers, and rosemary. So, next time you're at the garden center, consider picking up a few of these. Reducing your use of pesticides can also make a big difference. Consider using natural alternatives or adopting organic gardening practices. This not only helps the bees but also contributes to a healthier environment overall. And finally, advocating for policies that protect bees and their habitats can go a long way. This can be as simple as signing a petition or as involved as lobbying your local government. Remember, every small action counts in helping our buzzing friends. Before we wrap up, let's revisit the fascinating world of bees. We've journeyed through their intricate lives, unmasking their importance in our ecosystem. Bees, tiny as they are, play a monumental role in pollination, a process that's crucial to the survival of many plants and, by extension, our food supply. We've also uncovered the art of honey production, a meticulous process that showcases the industrious nature of these buzzing creatures. Each drop of honey is a testament to their collective hard work and tenacity. We've also touched on the threats these tiny warriors face and how we, as stewards of nature, can lend them a helping hand. Whether it's planting bee-friendly flowers or reducing pesticide use, every little action matters. Next time you spot a bee, remember these facts and appreciate their hard work. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of bees.